Welcome to Science Teaching Academy. We are discussing about evolution, and this is a follow-up lecture of last video. If you want, I advise friends, please follow up the first lecture of our evolution lecture in Science Teaching Academy channel of YouTube. Okay, fine. Before we have discussed how life have originated, how universe have originated, and in this lecture we are going to see what the origin of life with respective to time scales. See, life has evolved from a single cell, means not even a single cell. Life has evolved from a replicating macromolecule to this vast diverse life forms. We all know the definition of life, even though I have I just revise along with you guys. So if you say you are living, you are animate, you should have the capability of capability to survive and reproduce. That what make you to differ from inanimate things. See, we have created lot of inventions. We humans have created a lot of inventions, but there is no match for a living being. So living is a complex process happened due to these billion years of evolution. So I just continue this fascinating story with a proper time scale proven by experimental facts. See, life has started as a non-cellular life. In the last lecture I have said life arose around 4.4 billion years after Earth have evolved, Earth have formed of 4.5 billion years back. Means 3000 million years, roughly mean 3 billion years back, not roughly, exactly 3 billion years back. So friends, those who are not aware of billion million terms, just excuse me to say it again. Billion means 9 zeros, it should come around 9 zeros, so no time to write 9. Oh, I can do 3 3 3 3 3. This is said to be billion, and if it's only 6 zeros, it's said to be million. So life evolution have a term of MYA, means million years ago. Here we say 3000 million years ago, or we can say it is 3 billion years ago. So 3 billion years ago the non-cellular life formed. Non-cellular life, here it means giant macromolecules. From the last lecture we have know how Urey-Miller hypothesis said life have evolved from that prebiotic environment. How giant macromolecules have evolved. So giant macromolecules are assumed to evolve around 3000 million years ago, but look around, it took nearly 1000 million years or 1 billion year to form a cellular life. So what's the difference between non-cellular life and cellular life? Only that cell wall. So to form that one capsule it took around 1 billion year. So after it formed as a cell capsulated living material, means a cell with a cell wall, protective layer, the life have formed replicated itself to diverse forms within these years. Then it move on to form plant and invertebrates around 500 million years ago. So what happened, and few more points I like to discuss in that cellular form. When cellular life arose, that's the environment where we are converting from anaerobic to aerobic condition. So in the beginning of the lecture I have said life arose in anaerobic environment. So some cellular forms have just evolved itself to release oxygen, and photosynthesis also started. Photosynthesis is the source of our life, source of the entire life. We may say where I am getting energy, I am getting energy from the food I consume, and if you go back deep, where I got that energy is definitely from plant. You may say I am a meat eater, means I am a non-vegetarian, but even though the vegetarian food the cow or fish which you eat is definitely a vegetarian, right? So that also consume its food from a plant. So instead of boring you further, I will say what I mean to say is that life depends completely on sun rays. Means when solar energy when that solar energy is capable of when the life is capable of fixing that solar energy into chemical energy and the source of life form food. Okay, that happened just 3 billion years, 2 billion years ago. You imagine the cyanobacteria or the precursor of present day living plants have just started photosynthesis when the cellular life have aroused. And after that, in 500 million years ago, those cyanobacteria kind of photosynthesis, even though it exists today, modern day plants, the precursor of modern day plants have evolved in 500 million years. And invertebrates also form. Then in 350 million years ago, after 150 million years in the gap, jawless fish has happened in the form. We all have a theory, proven facts that life should have evolved in water environment. So water environment, as I said, water is full of oceans. So marine life is a precursor of all life existing today. So jawless fish started generating in marine, and after that the plants are the first invaders to land. When the plant just moved, our whole earth biosphere is surrounded by 3/4 of water. The remaining 1/4 only we are living, and we are just dominating the entire 3/4. So the plants are the real owner, means first comers of this land. So they started invading in the lands, and some small stout fish. This is in the case of flora. In the case of fauna, means what in the case of animals, the small stout fish which have stout fins, they started coming. Those fins have evolved into legs. I like to quote one more example of a recent discovery. In 1938 in South Africa, they have found one fossil called Colisanth. So those fossils, they thought it had been extinct. Colisanth. They assumed to be extinct before, but after finding that, they have found that those fossils, means not fossil, the living structures, have been the precursor for the living day amphibians, which moved from water to land. In 320 millions, with a gap of 30 million years, plants widespread. After they invaded land, they started widespreading. So when animals visited land, they have just enjoyed the widespread plant varieties, which are the producers of this universe, this earth, biosphere. Then the reptiles evolved from fishes. So reptiles are the important, reptiles just ruled over this biosphere for a few million years. What happened? The reptiles arose, and reptiles have thick shells. Even today you can see some amphibians like frogs, they will lay their eggs inside water environment because those eggs have thin shell. It doesn't have that much capable to face the sunlight. Due to these reasons, these amphibians just live in both lands and plant. So they still remain as amphibians. But when reptiles completely came to land, their eggs should face the sunlight. So those eggshells have been highly protected, and they are very thick to bear that sunlight. So reptiles evolved in this way, and around 200 million years, after 120 years back, reptiles started dominating the earth. If I say reptile, everyone will say from Jurassic Park, the dinosaurs. We are having a fiction or a faction about it now. Just think, 20 African elephants arranged one above the other, the size of dinosaurs. And the correct example, if I want to quote, there existed a dinosaur called T-Rex, Tyrannosaurus Rex. That Rex is about 20 feet tall. The largest reptile existed in this earth. And after that, the land reptile went back to water. So already the life came from water, and they invaded land, but some large reptiles just again they went back to land, water from land, and they started evolving there. And some giant ferns formed. Fern, which I hear, is pteridophytes. So to know about what is pteridophyte, just follow us on some other lectures, plant physiology lectures or plant anatomy lectures of Science Teaching Academy. And well, and I said reptiles dominated this one. These were the event happening around 200 million years. In 65 million years ago, dinosaurs started disappearing. This scientists claim different reasons for their disappearance, but no proven facts were there. They say that dinosaurs may have converted into birds, and dinosaurs have not extincted. They will say the present day birds are precursors of present day birds, are the evolved form predecessors of those dinosaurs. It may be the fact, or due to some huge explosion like a meteorite clash or something, some fact, dinosaurs may be have gone, but the real fact might even lie in between those facts with these two causes. Okay, fine, but that is very true, right? Until those large reptiles were there, we humans or we mammals were not there, cannot be grown as it is. After reptiles have gone down, mammals started evolving. So when mammals arose, we were like shrews. Shrews we know, na? Just a small animal. Shrew kind of a small animal. Those mammals have an advantageous feature that we are being a viviparous. So reptiles which lay eggs are said to be oviparous. Not only reptiles, animals which lay eggs are classified into oviparous, but animals which give birth to young ones, means which store their babies, which store their progenies in their womb, and they protected inside their body, they are said to be viviparous. So viviparous is one of the reasons why mammals are very successful animals in this land. And those mammals are also more intelligent. Intelligent means they are very sensitive to their enemies, and they are very protectious. They are protection, yeah. And they started widespreading in all habitats, even mammals existing in land, in water. I think one you can name mammals in water. Right. Whales, dolphins, sea cows. So these are the mammals living even in water. And all we see today, the major animals we see today is full of mammals. Like starting from elephant to a small goat or a dog, or everything is a mammal now. So we mammals started widespreading this whole started dominating this whole earth after the reptile extinction. So in this lecture I like to sum up what we have seen, how life have evolved from a non-cellular life form into this widespread mammal. In the next coming lecture we will see how humans evolved. We are particularly concerned about our own evolution. So don't miss it. Follow Science Teaching Academy to know about human evolution. Thank you.